everyone, and happy Friday and happy September 1st. Today is Friday, September 1st, 2023. Welcome to Simply Cards by Kathi. I'm Kathi Yandas, and today I am going to share with you how to use the background stamp, the Fragrant Forest. This is a beautiful background stamp. It is in the new upcoming 2023 September to December mini catalog. So that's going to be available for you to order from starting next Wednesday, September 6th, which I'm excited about. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you with me. And if you're returning either live, with me here live, or catching me on the replay, thank you so much for your support and joining me. I love being with you every Tuesday and Friday. If you're here with me live, leave me a comment. Let me know you're here. And if you have any problems with viewing or sound, please put those in the comments too, so I'm aware of it. So I have lots to tell you, lots to show you. I am going to show you 3 ways how to use that Fragrant Forest stamp set. And then we're going to make one card with one of the ways that I show you, and I'm going to show you the other 2 cards finished. So let's flip this camera down and get started. And so this is the stamp set. In the new mini catalog, there are 2 background stamps that I purchased. One is with the deer, and this one is the forest. What I love about this stamp set is that it's so versatile. As I looked at it, I thought, gosh, that's perfect for winter or for Christmas. But then as I looked at it more, it's a great masculine card. It'll make a great card for a masculine birthday or get well. It's a great card for a sympathy card. So I think there's so much you can do with it. It is a cling stamp, and it does fit the largest of the blocks. I'm trying to think of which block size this is. Kind of escapes me, but it is the largest. And it comes just like this. So I am using it to on my block. Now, if you have an apparatus like a Stamparatus that's from before we discontinued them, you could use that type of item for stamping this too. But I'm going to use this, and I'm going to show you how I do it using a block. So this is one. The other product we're going to use for the card we're going to make is the new, it's called the Snowflake Sky. It's an embossing folder. Really, really beautiful. And we're going to use this on the card we're going to make too. Now my greeting is going to come from the Brightest Glow stamp set, and that is in the annual catalog on page 42. So let's get started, because I have 3 ways to show you of how to use this. So I'm going to start off by using, I chose Shaded Spruce, and I leave my stamp upright when I ink it. You'll see me do this a lot. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to ink my entire surface of this stamp. Now, I got to tell you, up until this morning, my hands have been green, and every color green you can think of because of what I've used on this stamp. So I want to make sure that I get good coverage, and maybe you can see that there was an area right here. And so I'm just going over it. And that looks really good. So I'm going to close this up. Now I've pre-cut my paper. So I'm going to bring in a piece, and it is larger than I'm going to use. These are cut at 4 and 5 1/4. Hi, Mary. A little cool here today too in Ohio, but we are getting up into the upper 80s and 90s all next week. So we're going to start off, and I recommend you use a size larger than what you're going to. My size is going to end up 3 3/4 by 5. So this is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And you find what area you want. I want it to be pretty even. So I'm going to lay it down on the top. And then I took a piece of just copy paper and I folded it, and I'm going to lay it on top, and I'm going to use this to rub the image on my cardstock. This is the easiest way that I know of. When I'm using such a big stamp like this, I want to make sure that I can go over it and get a good image. Now, you can use your fingers just to rub, which is what I'm doing. If you have what's called a Chucky tool, and you can get these on Amazon or Etsy, I think I got this one on Etsy, you can use this to rub evenly also. So I think that's going to be pretty good. I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to grab a tweezers because you can see I'm already green. I always wear the greens and the blues for some reason. And I'm just going to pick this up. And let's move this over here and look at this beautiful image. Now you can see why I start off with it a little bit larger, because I'm going to be able to trim off some of that area. But isn't that a gorgeous stamp? I love it. Now this is using our classic ink, so it's going to dry pretty quickly, but I'm going to set it off to the side because this is the one we're going to use to make a card, and let that dry while I show you the other two techniques. So I'm going to bring this back in, and I need to clean it before I do the next one. And I'm also going to fold my paper that I used, and I want to so I don't smear it on the next cardstock. So I'm just folding it to the inside. Now I clean this with my Stampin' Mist, and I always keep a microfiber cloth, or a couple of them, and I'm just going to spritz it. You can use your chamois and take your sponge and just wipe it off. But I kind of found this worked well for me. So, and I'm just going to clean it off real good. Now, the next one I want to show you is a little, we're going to use 3 colors on this stamp. And it can be a little tricky to do. I really played with this a lot over the last couple days to try to do it and find the easiest way. I found that using my stamp pads was the easiest. I tried using a dauber. I tried using my blending brushes, and I really just didn't like the image. So we're going to use 3 colors, and we're going to use Lost Lagoon, Shaded Spruce, and Pretty Peacock. So we're going to start with the lightest one. And for the lightest one, I'm going to put that in the middle. And I'm just going to ink this up. And I'm going to try using corners and do the best I can. But the reason I start off with the lighter one is because if I move it or get some of it onto the upper or lower portion, it's going to cover up with the darker ink anyway. So I'm not as concerned. So just going to ink this up here. And again, remember I said I keep a microfiber cloth here so that if I have to wipe some of it off, I can. And I'm trying to use just the corner as I move over to the smaller edges here to ink this up. Now you can see I have some bare spots here, so I'm just going to kind of go back over it. Okay, and that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to close this up. And you can see I did get a little bit here. I'm just going to take my microfiber cloth and I'm going to wipe it away. Now up on the top, I'm going to let's use our Shaded Spruce. So I'm going to open this one up and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to cover the upper portion. And I'm excited to show you this because it's a really pretty effect. And we're just going to cover that up as much as we can. I think that looks pretty darn good. Okay, let's close this one up. And I'm just going to take that off. And now we're going to come in with our pretty peacock for the lower portion of the trees. All right. And I'm just going to ink this up too. Now, I had mentioned to you I tried using my blending brushes to cover this. And what I found was it kind of, and this, I don't even know if this is a correct term, but it flattened the ink. I really didn't get a good image. And it may be because the ink, the blending brushes kind of smear the ink instead of stamping it on. But I didn't really like it at all. So I then tried a dauber. That was a little bit better, but it takes a long time to apply the ink on a stamp like this with a dauber. Now, if you have a small area, like these two areas at the top of the trees, you can use a dauber and try to cover that. But I think we got it pretty good here. So that looks good. So it takes a little bit to take your time and cover it, but the final result is well worth it. So there's our three colors: Shaded Spruce, Lost Lagoon, and a pretty peacock. And we have another piece of white here. And what I'm going to do is I want to get this in the middle. So I'm going to drop it here. And I'm going to take my piece of paper and cover it again. And I'm going to ink it up. And I'm just going to use my hand to move around. And I'm going to hold it in place with my other hand. That's important because otherwise it's going to slide around and your image is going to get kind of smear quite a bit. So I do hold it down with my other hand. Oh, Mary, you'll love them. I love these two stamps. Okay, now I'm going to bring my Chucky in and just give it one good press. Okay, so let's pick this up first. And I am going to use my tweezers so that I can pick it up and off. And let's move this over here and look at that image. And again, I am going to have to trim it off, but look at the variety of colors. It really does look like an evergreen forest, or to me, an evergreen farm. So again, we're going to set this off to the side and clean this off. And I'm going to show you the third way to get an image. Now, with the third way, we're going to use our craft white ink. And we're going to stamp it on a piece of pretty peacock. And then I'm going to show you another way, a fourth way I did it. And I'm not so sure I like it, but I'm going to let you decide because you may. But I'll show you the finished product. So let's clean this off. And now I want to make sure I really have it clean because I'm going to be using the craft white ink. And I don't want any of the greens to come through on my cardstock. So, okay, that looks good. Okay, let's grab our craft white, and it's right here. And again, you're going to ink the stamp the same way. Now, I just re-inked. Now, with the craft white ink, it's thicker, it's stickier, and it takes longer to dry. So, and it should ink up pretty easy. And I had just re-inked my pad earlier this morning. So that looks good. Okay, let's close that up. And we're going to come in for 5 by 5 1/4 with pretty peacock. And I'm just going to go ahead, set it down. And again, I should have used my paper, but it's really covered in green and I don't want to get it on anything. So let's go ahead, and I'm just giving this a good press. And I am going to come in with my Chucky. And let's take this one off. Okay. And here's the image of this one. And see, I got a little bit darker area in here. I must have had more ink on it. But then I'm going to set this off to the side to dry. And that'll be cut down to 3 3/4 by 5. Now I'm going to show you one that I did do. I wanted to try one using embossing powder. So with this, I used Versamark, and this is on Lost Lagoon with the white embossing powder. And in the end, I didn't really like it because I thought you lost a lot of the detail from the trees. The embossing powder, as it melts or heats, it just kind of loses some of that. But that was another way. So let's go ahead and make our card. I'm going to move these off to the side, and we're going to bring this one back in. So with this, I'm going to cut it down to 3 3/4 by 5. So let's grab this here. And I am going to cut 1/8 of an inch off each side, just because I have a little bit of white on each side. And that way it'll be completely covered. So we're going to cut this down 1/8 off, so 3 3/4. All right. Now my top looks really good, you can see. So I'm just going to take it off the bottom. So we're going to bring this down to 5. And we're ready to make our card. Now hang with me, because in the end I have 3 more cards to show you. So I have a piece of, what do I have? I have the shaded spruce. This is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And I'm just going to go ahead and fold it, and we're going to burnish it with our bone folder. Now, I want to use this piece, but I want to add like a frame around it. So what I chose to do is I cut a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 of basic white. And then I went ahead and I cut out, these are the deckled rectangles. I think this is the third largest one. And I cut it out, and I'm going to set this aside. But now I want to add something more than just the plain white. So we're going to emboss this. So I wanted to show you, to emboss this, I do my cutting first if I'm going to emboss a frame, and then I dry emboss, because if I emboss first and then run this through to cut the frame, you kind of flatten out your embossing. So I'm going to go ahead with this, and I'm going to go ahead and line this up. And I'm just going to reach behind me and run this through our embossing, my stamp and my cut and emboss machine. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, and here's what we have. You can see we have the snowflakes. We're going to use this as the top, and as it comes down, you can see some of the little flakes embossed there. I hope you can see them, but it's really pretty. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to add some glue around the frame of my, the edge of my frame. And I'm going to bring in my silicone mat. And I'm just going to go in here right around the edge and add a little bit of glue. I hope you have some fun plans for the weekend. It's a long weekend here in the United States, isn't it? Um, I do want to remind you that next Wednesday, the 6th of September, you can order from the new mini catalog. So that will start on Wednesday. Now I'm going to take this and I'm simply going to lay it down and kind of in the middle here. And let's flip it over and look at that. So I'm going to press that down. Mary, I'm glad you like it. It is a beautiful stamp. And I'm going to just go ahead and glue this down. I am not going to pop it up because I'm probably going to put this in the mail. So I'm going to try to keep them as flat as possible, but I think you're going to see it looks really pretty, even flat. And I'm just going to add some multi-purpose glue on here. And let's go ahead and add this to the front of our card. It's such a quick and easy, simple Christmas card, and it just looks so pretty. Look at my hands covered in green and craft white ink. All right, let's give it a good press here. Now I've gone ahead and for the outside, I've already heat embossed in gold, 'Tis the Season. And we're going to go ahead and pop this on with dimensionals because it's really small. Let's just Another thing I want to tell you is on September 6th, Stampin' Up! Is releasing 5 designer series paper packets. These are all brand new. They were originally designed for the second celebration, and now we only do celebration once a year. So they decided to release these as an online exclusive. And I've been able to see the papers. They are gorgeous. Those will be available while supplies last in the online store under online exclusives. And again, they have some for Christmas. They have all occasion, just beautiful, beautiful papers. Now I have a piece of gold. It's almost like a twine. I'm going to go ahead and tie a bow here. And we're going to attach this to the front of the card. Now, again, I have several other cards to show you that are made with the techniques that I showed you while we were here live. And I'll show you what the finished products look like. So remember, I will give you a downloadable PDF. That will be available by 6 o'clock tonight. And the link is going to be right here in the video description, right down below. You can see me working my bow, and that looks good. We're just going to bring it in a little bit. So don't worry about measurements because they're all going to be there for you. I hope you're enjoying the PDFs. And this one I want to bring up. All right, let's trim this off and we are ready to attach this. Now, on the front of the card, we're going to add just a little bit of bling. Let's cut this off here. I want this to be. All right. Now, I'm going to fray my ribbon because I really like the look of it. You can leave yours. And again, I'll have all the supplies in that PDF for you. You can leave yours as is, but I'm going to show you another card where I frayed it and I really liked the way it came out. So this fray is really easy. Look at my hands, covered in ink. All I'm doing is kind of pulling it apart at the ends. And you'll see I've done this with another card. And it just looks so pretty. Almost looked like a fan. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to attach this with a glue dot. Now it's meant to kind of fan out and look, I don't know, kind of fluttery, I guess is a good word. So I'm going to pick up my glue dot. And I'm just going to pop it here on the corner. Now on the outside, I'm using these loose holly leaf gems and sequins. These are also in the new catalog, and I'm going to put a few out for you to see. We've got some holly, you've got some music notes, and then we have these beautiful red gems, which is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to bring in my little needlepoint glue. Again, these are the bottles I just get off Amazon, and then I fill them with my multi-purpose glue. And I'm going to pick up one of these smaller gems and just set it down there. Kind of sticking to my, there we go. And I'm going to add one over here. There we are. And I'm going to add one here. Let's add one, maybe right up here. Do our triangle 3. Now for the inside of the card, right now I'm going to leave it blank because I have not decided on a greeting yet. But what I am going to show you I did was I actually took a, come on. These want to stay to me more than the card. There we go. There we are. So here's our front of our card. Now for the inside, I took a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 white, and all I did was emboss the edge with the same embossing folder. And I'm going to go ahead and attach it in here. So that's the finished card, but I want to show you the other cards. So let me get this all out of the way here, and before I dump them, because I will, and show you the other cards. Oh, Mary, I know. Certain colors, isn't that the truth? Now, here's another one where I reversed the colors. The one where you saw I added the 3 colors, and I used the new ribbon in the new catalog coming out and embossed. And this is on, oh gosh, I used, my base is Lost Lagoon. So there's the second one. Now my third one is where I used the craft white ink. Lost Lagoon is my base. Remember, I stamped on Pretty Peacock, and this is all done in silver. So you can see that one. And then my fourth one, I did do the 3 colors, but I framed it with the distressed gold specialty paper. And you can see here's the bow with the same ribbon I used, a little bit bigger, and frayed the ends. So 4 different cards using those 3 ways to stamp. Let me bring you back to me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I really had fun doing it for you and showing you the different ways. It's a great versatile stamp set, and it's really appropriate for just about any occasion. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Feel free to share it. Hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified when I go live or when I post another video. I have some surprises coming up for you in September. I will be back with you on Tuesday morning at 11. Hope you have a safe and wonderful weekend, and thank you for your support. I'll see you soon.